find out how the Shelter Afrique Conference, themed Formal Rental Housing in Africa, presents a unique avenue for key players in the housing markets. Looking at the situation from your different countries, what would you say is the role of government when it comes to rental housing? Let's start with you, Bona Ambassador.
Okay. Thank you. I think the role of government is providing conducive atmosphere to investors and developers of rental housing, as well as providing guidelines, if not a regulatory framework, especially as it concerns low-cost housing, so that, which at the moment is informal and largely unregulated. It is an economic asset that is left, untapped. And if this sector can be formalized, I think it will bring a lot of equity into the economy and for fund providers as well. So that's where I see the role of government, in order to make sure that, those providers are comfortable enough to give funds, and that the end users equally can afford the property when it's finished.
Government should meet the lead role in providing both the policy framework and the enablers to be able to meet the housing deficit. There is the lower end that government also must pay attention to, the urban sprawl, informal settlements, where adequate housing and the standards for housing need to be uplifted for housing for all. And then, of course, there is the access to housing, that government should set the message and the tone completely in everything, in regulations, in law, in enablers, and so on, such that access to housing is going to be available.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you so much. The panelists are around. We can, as we are having our tea, we'll be able to ask them our questions, because my time is up and our time is up for now. Let's give them a hand. Statistics indicate about 90% of Africa's population is unable to access a mortgage. Options are now available, such as rent to own. Talk to us about the African Rental Housing Conference, and talk to us where it's going and what you expect out of it.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, Shelter Afrique has a primary mission to contribute to affordable housing across all of Africa, and we are the leading institution doing that. So our mission is not only to provide finance for housing, but it's also to promote everything that has to do with housing. So we organized this conference primarily because most of the debate and the discussion up until now has focused on home ownership. And we know that most of the people in Africa actually do not own homes, or will never be able to own homes. And most of them live in rented homes. So we think that there's not been enough discussion around rental in Africa. And we thought that it was high time that we brought all key stakeholders together. So we've invited people from the public sector, from the private sector. We have multilateral organizations here, developers, tenants associations, landlords associations. Everyone is here, and we want them to really, for the very first time, discuss and find solutions towards the challenges facing rental housing.
Affordable and decent housing, we know that it's one of our biggest challenges. Do you think Shelter Afrique can help us conquer this big challenge?
It is a big challenge, but we are confident that if we get the right people at the table all seated together and they have a positive attitude to discussing and resolving these issues, we are confident we can. We think that pretty much most of the African economies, the upper segment of the economies are well served. Actually, potentially in some of these areas, there might even be an excess supply of accommodation. When we look at the middle and the lowest level, there really is very huge demand. And what we need to do is to break the challenge around land, cost of land, construction material, and the financing that is associated with that. And for sure, we believe that rental housing could contribute to that.
And where are you taking us with Shelter Africa? Where are you taking Shelter Africa, and what should we be seeing going forward?
Well, we continue on the track that we have actually embarked on over the past 2 years, which is primarily to continue the aggressive growth that we want to achieve. We want to extend our services to those countries that we have not yet reached so far. We want to strengthen collaboration with partners, both local as well as international. We want to be very much visible as is happening today. We're going to be sponsoring conferences such as this one here, and we want to be by the side of the small developers who probably in most cases struggle a lot to get their act together. So that's where we're going to be taking Shelter Africa.
What services do you offer? A developer at home who is wondering, where do I begin? What could they look out for at Shelter Africa?
You know, you'd be surprised, but almost 80% of the developers that come to us designing business plans, fine-tuning their project plans, execution of those project plans themselves, most of these are SMEs, and many of them are first-time developers in the true sense. So we sit down with these people, we support them, we tell them that their dreams are not only dreams, that they can be realized, and we give them people who support them, fine-tune everything, and hook them up with partners who eventually help them execute on those projects. And we have some very good success stories. So we want to continue doing that, and we want to continue taking it to those countries, those areas that we haven't been to so far. But we are also working with financial institutions, both at the mainstream level as well as microfinance level, whereby they get funds from us, and they use those funds for on lending to home buyers. But we don't limit it to funds, as I said. We also give these financial institutions training. Microfinance institutions have just been in Shelter Africa's premises, and they have received serious microfinance training for their portfolio managers and loan officers. So we believe that our services are really contributing and being more impactful, way beyond simply providing finance solutions for housing.
Asante sana. Please give us your parting shots.
Well, my parting shot is that I'm excited first and foremost to be here. To me, it's a bit like coming home. I'm excited to be part of an organization that has a very honorable mission. Housing is key to every one of us. We all have that dream of owning a house. We all have the dream of living in comfort.